in my history of air tightness testing since 1987, essentially, in the early days, Andy, we were always focused on polyethylene. But now we have these choices of exterior barriers, which has really been your history.
We've seen in particular over the last 5 to 10 years is this real move from interior air barriers to exterior air barriers. Something we saw in the commercial sector a number of years ago, now we're seeing it in residential. So there's two ways that you can do a exterior air barrier. One is you can use a product like this, which is a insulated continuous sheathing, and it also has a certification, a Canadian certification as an air barrier. So it's certified as a system, not just a product. It's the board plus the approved tapes plus the approved joints. And we've seen exterior air barriers applied, Gord, that get like 1.5 air change before any poly vapor barriers put on the inside.
Well, partly because there's so many fewer intersections, right? We just don't see the number of penetrations, those intersecting walls. So you scan up this wall, there's not a lot to be done here. Notice this tape. This is not your ordinary sheathing tape. You can't be using that. This is a product that actually expands and contracts along with the foam. Same is true with the water-resistant barriers. You have to use a water-resistant barrier that's approved as an air barrier, and there's a Canadian rating for that, and then using the approved tapes and sealants that would make that an air barrier. But really nice choice to go to exterior, and why not both, right? We want higher levels of air tightness. We could do both an interior and an exterior.
And oftentimes we'll get questioned from a builder, well, I know I could do an exterior air barrier with a foam product like this or with a house wrap, but it's different trades that are controlling the air barrier. So often what we remind them is it does take a little bit of change, a little bit of education, but the beautiful thing from a builder's perspective is when you're not relying on an interior polyethylene, you don't have to worry about getting it behind stairs and around outlets and all those wall intersections. Those really don't matter anymore.
Right.
Now it's on the outside. I remember there was a study that was done by a large insulation manufacturer that said there's less than half the amount of penetrations on the outside as there is on the inside.
Pretty interesting stat. I love that stat. And then you think about, well, I gotta worry about transitions. So as I go from the wall to the foundation, there are through-wall flashings, tapes, or in this case, they just use a simple caulking on the outside as the air barrier. So really interesting strategies. We have different materials that we can use to do air barriers. We can do it from the outside or the inside, as long as they're continuous and connected.
That's right. Watertight and airtight with one set of materials. That's pretty cool.
It is.